In yesterday's video, we talked about forgetfulness and dealing with too many external influences, too much flooding in on us. And in today's video, I would really like to talk about what we can actually do with this hypersensitivity or with being highly sensitive. Where is this perhaps also a valuable resource and not just a burden that has been placed upon us? And primarily, we can do a great deal with that. When we work with people, or with animals, or with the earth, so anything that goes a little bit in a spiritual direction, because of course our actual capacity for perception is not nearly as limited as that of quite a few other people. That means that we are able to very easily sense how another person is feeling. That is indeed often the very thing that is so very draining, because we automatically sense the energy field of another human being. And that can be really quite overwhelming, especially when there are a large number of people. And I would like to add straight away that neurodivergent people are incredibly well suited to working together with other people. But they really need to find a very good balance. For example, in the course of my own career, I had this big goal of having my practice fully booked with 5, 6 or 7 appointments a day. And then I soon realised I just cannot manage that at all. I need these days in between to recharge my batteries. I also really need times in between. Otherwise, I am simply not at my absolute best. Because we are able to do an incredible amount of good by sensing exactly how someone is doing, and by getting quite a few downloads from the unseen, from the cosmic. But we have to be careful not to overwork ourselves. For me, it was like, at some point I reached a stage where I realised I just couldn't cope with it anymore. I am so tired in the evenings that I either cannot fall asleep at all. I do not know if you actually know that particular feeling of being too tired to fall asleep. I mean, being way too exhausted, it is like when that transition simply doesn't seem to work out. Or it was like I would fall into a coma. I mean, it wasn't just sleep, it was like being comatose, just completely gone, totally blacked out. Which is actually quite a good thing in the end, because it allows you to recover. But that is not the point of life. That means, as a neurodivergent person, it's really important to be able to plan your daily routine well. And in the next video, we will be looking at which external circumstances are beneficial for us and which ones are more of a disadvantage. It is simply the case that this high sensitivity opens up so many doors for us, whether that's in animal communication or in working with people, be it in a spiritual or psychological sense, or even when it comes to nutrition. Some lovely lady wrote that she's a neurodivergent nutritionist for neurodivergence. That is absolutely great, because it is also a thing that we often tend to have our very own issues with food in all sorts of totally different ways. Some are binge eaters, others can't eat certain things because the texture feels weird. I simply can't eat any animal products because I feel so terribly sorry for the animals. And it also disgusts me in a way. I mean, when you can actually feel the energy from the food, it is absolutely incredible what you're able to do and achieve with it. That means when neurodivergent people, and hopefully you, also come to realise, hey, just the way that I am actually a gift to this world. And then quite suddenly, a whole cosmos of possibilities opens up, which are not available to neurotypical people with that same kind of ease. So the trick is to get away from the heaviness. The heaviness comes from trying to be neurotypical, just like I tried to do for years, disciplining myself with coaching and all sorts of other things, or domesticating myself, because we've got wild brains, right, and they don't actually want to be domesticated at all. And when you actually move away from that and then look at, hey, where are my strengths? Where are my resources? And these resources lie within this supposed too much. This supposed too much is not actually too much. It is simply a lot. A perception of so many things that other people simply don't perceive because they have filters. And yes, these filters can make life easier, but these filters also stop us from perceiving. And if you also happen to get that feeling of, hey, absolutely everything is just piling up on top of me, then perhaps it might be time for you to stop and think about whether you are really in the right place in your life. And I'm not saying this out of some arrogance like, hey, I'm in the right place, you go check if you are. But my whole life is a constant course correction. Time and again I've had the feeling that I'm in the right place, only to find out. In theory, yes, but in practice, no. And now I am turning 60 next year and I am still making course corrections, but that's probably just the neurodivergent way. We're not going to do one apprenticeship, one degree, and then stick with that for the rest of our lives. Probably not. Instead, we'll have to keep reassessing, and neurodivergence changes with age as well. Which means you get even more thin-skinned. Well, that happened to me. I became even more thin-skinned once I hit menopause. That even more, it is like even more of the filters have fallen away. When these fertility forces, these reproductive powers fade away, then something new enters into your life. And that makes you even more thin-skinned. But if you're interested in that, please let me know down in the comments what exactly you would like to hear, because I would also love to talk a little bit about lifestyle and life choices for neurodivergent people, if you're interested. All the best to you, and see you tomorrow.